Attention all sci-fi fans, Invasion Season 2 is back on Apple TV and in my humble opinion is better than ever. Now, it must be noted that when Invasion first premiered in 2021, it kind of had a rough go both critically and with its audience score. The show for some kind of felt disorganized, and while there were some characters and arcs who felt extremely cohesive and exciting and compelling, there was other POVs that weren't as much. Despite this, there were some positive critical reviews. We can see here that Carrie Darling of the Houston Chronicle said, "It has fully realized characters, solid acting. Neil and Farahani always bring it and are building a dread. There is so much unexplained in those first 3 episodes and so many cliffhangers we can't wait to see resolved," said Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times. And as Dan Inav of the Financial Times noted, there's enough vaguely intriguing mystery, patient atmosphere building, and big budget sheen here to ensure that the show remains entirely watchable despite some loose change characterizations and plotting. I think that's how I feel about season 1 as well. It was a little bit uneven. I think it's telling that they centered this character on the promotional poster because I felt like her story, the infidelity with her husband, like the end of days kind of feeling that happened when the aliens are invading from her POV felt the most like kind of fully realized and like articulately written, and also this woman's just a fantastic actress. I didn't necessarily like how in the first episode we have 2 characters, the guy from Jurassic Park and another woman who are both wonderful actors, but just like they're only in the series for that one episode. That I don't like when shows do that, when they introduce like a supposed protagonist that then you never see again after that episode. It's not until I believe the end of episode 1, 2 that we really get this woman's story, which I feel like was kind of the bread and bones of season 1. Is that the right term? The bread and butter is the right term. I think my main other gripe with this show is that the design for the monsters is a little bit cheesy. That being said, they're doing a much better job in season 2 at kind of expanding upon what... I don't know, I'm curious. Do you guys think like the way that the monsters look, because they just don't seem scary. They're like these cute little blobs, but maybe that's intentional. But I thought season 1 was great. It was a little uneven. There were some POVs that weren't fully developed. And season 2, to me, has been a kind of marked improvement of season 1. I mean, we can see both in the critical and audience score, you know, we're a whole letter grade higher. We're in the 64 percentile. And the critical consensus seems a little mixed. If we look at Livy Scott from Inverse, they say, while season 2 makes an admirable effort to expand upon this world, Invasion can't shake the issues that have plagued it from the beginning. That's a fair criticism. And then Johnny Loftus from The Decider says, the core characters we've been following will be key to making those in power and the world at large understand the war is not won. The aliens will make more moves, and sometimes the battlefield isn't something you can touch. A little bit vague, but I imagine it's just extracted from a larger, more in-depth piece. Martin Carr from IGN Movie says, packing more pathos into its complex run than most shows can muster, there is a real sense of revelation that comes through with Invasion Season 2. I would agree. I feel like Season 2 builds quite nicely on Season 1. I'm really fascinated in Season 2. Mitsuki's character is kind of one of the more prominently featured storylines, and because she's the one who is able to, spoiler alert, make contact with the aliens. I also just love the interesting plot about her lover. I think everything with her is quite interesting. Anisha's plotline is still probably the one that I'm most invested in. I really don't get why Sam Neill kind of has top billing on this show. Like, he's only on it for 1 episode. That's very strange that he would even be top billed on IMDb, or on, I guess, this Rotten Tomatoes. No shade to him. He's a wonderful actor, but he's like not even in the show. I do also love Travante's character. I feel like his character gets like some development in season 1, but season 2 we've got some really interesting scenes with him. And I think exploring that connection with his like notebook and the research he's doing, and then also like the interesting family scenes, like he kind of revealing his PTSD, has also been really interesting. So I think those 3 POVs are the probably most interesting to me. Sam Neill's character was interesting in episode 1, but he's not really on the show. And then there's also the kids. I'm not like as invested in their plot line just because I'm not really like it's kind of, there's just so many of them, and they're like, it's a different POV each time. Like, it's almost like too many characters a little bit. I like there is much to be said too about like it's kind of multiple shows in one. Like the Anisha plotline is its own show, the Mitsuki plotline is its own show, and then Travante's plotline, and then the way that he is like connected with this kid who has like the psychic ability is also its own show. Also very interesting how that kid's plotline is kind of similar to Stranger Things. There's a lot of good things there, and like the actors actors are very good, and like you can tell that they're all going to be stars one day if they're not already. But I just feel like it's trying to accomplish too much maybe, and that's why I kind of like with anthology series like this, it's kind of hit or miss for me. But that being said, I've really liked both these seasons, and I'm definitely going to keep watching. What do you think though? Are you watching this show? Are you enjoying it? Let me know in the comments.